Well, you know me.
Watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I want to throw you one of the lines from this movie already because it's so great. I just live by the ABCs. Adventurous, brave, creative. I love that it's not even a sentence.
What's the thing in Glengarry Glen Ross? Always be close.
Always
A, B, C. A, always. B. Closing. I don't know.
I hate it.
Coffee's
Ben Stiller is the better closer.
Coffee's for closers, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Set of steak knives. That's my Alec Baldwin. You know what second prize is? Set of steak knives. Third prize is you fired.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've never seen Glenn. We've seen.
I have. Yeah.
It's, hey, newsflash, everybody. It's good. Yeah. All right. You ever heard of it?
Why don't you take it out with John Malkovich, see what he feels about it?
You're trying to goad me into my John Malkovich impression, which is I've perfected this weekend.
Go
and no, I will not.
What?
I will not.
Are you just not enraged that I've put you on the spot?
Yeah, I can't just be called upon. It's an art form, right? And you can't just.
Sure.
You got to wait for inspiration to strike.
When?
No.
Is it now?
I'm moving on.
Okay. We can start the podcast.
Welcome to. If my co-host would stop interrupting me, I could say.
Oh.
Welcome
to
the low ceiling.
Hey.
I'm John.
And I'm Free.
Malkovich.
Okay. What the hell?
Wait, what was your name? Sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm John.
Whatever. I'm Pre. Today, what are we talking about? We're talking about a crazy thing. Because it's one of your favorite movies of all time.
Why is that a crazy thing?
Well, I don't know. I want to ask you, we're never say the title of the film. We're going to get right into the conversation.
That's fair.
We're just kidding. We're talking about The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, a Ben Stiller joint from 2013.
Yeah.
So this is one of your favorite movies ever.
This is where I want to start the podcast. Everything before this, we're deleting.
I'm cutting it out.
They're cutting that shit out. Seriously. This movie, everything about this movie resonates with my core. I don't know why I love it so much. I know a lot of people love it the way I love it. And it's just that it's so pure.
Yeah.
And innocent and earnest that I just, even kind of now talking about it, I feel like I'm about to tear up a little bit. It's so beautiful.
Interesting. Because, okay, can I say what I thought immediately? So the reviews for this film are strongly mediocre.
Yeah.
From professional reviewers. However, almost everywhere I looked, uniformly, the internet tells me that the audience score is like above 4.5 everywhere. Lots of people really like this film.
Shocking that it's like 52% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I do like this movie.
Yeah,
but I'm not like in love with it.
I think when you feel like.
Did we say what movie we're talking about?
We did.
Yeah,
we're talking about The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah,
and sometimes people are like, oh my god, XYZ movie was made for me personally. This is the one for me.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Basic Instinct.
You know what I mean? Like, when every time you sit with your legs crossed on a chair, you're like, am I
Sharon
the
Stone?
chair?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Walter Mitty is my Sharon Stone. I don't know what it is.
Really?
It's so... I think because I daydream a lot. I am the guy. I am him.
You are Walter Mitty.
I am Walter Mitty. I'm telling you. And it's not like... I'm pretty basic, right? I like the occasional Starbucks.
Yeah.
I cry when I see someone else cry.
Yeah.
I let a movie ruin me
You're
completely.
getting that pumpkin spice right away. Yeah.
I'm right away. Yo, August, TikTok, we're getting it.
Yeah.
But
you have live, love, laugh tattooed on you?
Yes, 3 separate times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have
Hey, babe.
Okay.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. All right? Am I right about that?
Cats are people too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just know that Walter Mitty is just the movie that makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm filled with hope, and I feel like I can do anything, even though I'm just not doing anything that I want to do. I'm just daydreaming about it.
Interesting.
I'm just imagining a better life for me.
It's like inspiring.
It's incredibly
inspiring.
inspiring.
Yeah.
And so every time I watch it, I feel uplifted.
That's so funny because we talked about in our last episode, our previous film, which is also really inspiring, Men. We talked about how movies that are made to give a social message that we're like, well, who is this for? And oftentimes those films are meant to be inspiring in like a socially conscious way.
Yeah.
However, I think they suck at it because you're just kind of like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah, we know. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it. Racism is bad. We get it. Sexism is bad. We get it. Like, and they try so hard to be inspiring that they make me feel cynical.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, this movie, it actually, I don't think it has, like, a socially conscious message, quote unquote, but it has a personally conscious message, which is, like, one thing I wrote down, which is important, which I wrote this down and then Ben Stiller literally says it. Oh. But I was like, oh yeah, like he daydreams less the more he takes control of his life.
Yeah.
And then he's sitting with Patton Oswalt and he's like, yeah, daydream less. And I was like, exactly, that's the point of the film.
Yeah. That he's doing it.
Yeah.
He is making his dreams into a very tangible reality that is sometimes more shocking than the stuff that he dreamed of. Like in the opening sequence, he jumps off a bridge into a burning building to save a 3-legged dog. But then later on in the film, he's literally skateboarding down Iceland
while
highway.
the volcano erupts behind him.
Yeah, it's like, I just want to skateboard through Iceland, man. I'm about that life now.
I think like something, Ben Stiller has always kind of been really in touch with this like very Gen X malaise of like modern life.
Yeah.
Like I think he's really good at that, especially in the movies that he's directed.
Yeah.
You know? I've never seen like Reality Bites is like one of the key like Gen X films. I've never seen it though. But like he's kind of got that vibe down, and he's like always been, when he acts and stuff, when he's not playing like in Zoolander or Dodgeball or stuff.
Yeah.
But he always kind of like gravitates, especially when he's playing a serious role or the straight man, like he gravitates towards roles of like the middle-aged man who's dissatisfied with his life in lots of ways.
Along Came Polly is like one of the ones.
Yeah. Or even like
Meet the Fockers.
meet the Parents. He's like, but like Meet the Parents, he is, a lot of his insecurity comes from the fact that he's a male nurse and stuff like that. Like he does gravitate towards those types of roles, and I don't know, like he's really good at that. This movie is like one of the clearest kind of indications of it, I think.
You know, when you're young and you watch a movie.
Sorry, I'm gonna stop you right there. No, I do not know when I'm young.
Sorry. This is a trigger for
I've
both
forgotten
of us.
what it's like. Yeah.
But when you watch a movie with whimsy, because it's like, oh my God, I never would have thought of that, and it makes me feel a certain way. I feel like adults can only hold on to like nostalgia in that way, where they watch Harry Potter and feel like this is immersive and like a wonderful experience, and I'm lost in this fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like Harry Potter for adults, if that you know what I mean. Like this, it feels like a realistic film that I find myself just being lost in. And feeling like this is the type of fantasy. I
feel that way. I know lots of people feel that way about like Harry Potter. I actually feel that way about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like and there's very basic similarities to Lord of the Rings in that like with this and Walter Mitty. It's weird to compare the two, but when you think about it, it's like a guy in Walter Mitty, it's a dude who's like, I gotta go do this thing and it's not really my job.
Yeah.
And it's the same in Lord of the Rings, like Frodo's adventure. Like he goes on this grand adventure, but really he never really expects that it's his job, but then he knows he has to step up and do it, you know? And I feel that way about Lord of the Rings too, where like you watch it and you're just kind of like, a part of you envies the fact that someone has this like purpose in their life, which is what this movie is also about, is like this man who finds purpose in like kind of like not, I don't know, like out of the mundanity of his life, you know?
And his job is the definition of mundane. So Walter Mitty's working for
But
25
he's quite good
years.
at it, though.
He's great at it. And he doesn't find it to be boring, but of course his personality is just that he would find the monotony of that reliable. So he does the same job as a negative asset manager for 25 years in the basement of a magazine.
But also, like, the crux of the film is that, like, the magazine, he's faced with this thing where it's like, your job literally can't exist anymore because the magazine is now online.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, like, Adam Scott and is just kind of like, you're a dumbass and you're gonna get fired for your dumbassery.
Adam Scott and his Adam Scott beard, which is what a choice, that beard.
Can I ask a question I wanted to kind of kick into?
Yeah.
You just read the short story like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Now pretty much everyone has read this short story, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't, I mean, it's 2.5 pages long. It's really short. But like a lot of people, at least in the English speaking world, I think read this short story when they were in school. Why would you ever think to adapt this short story aside from that? Like, I don't get why this became an idea.
And what a fucking excellent take on it. What a way to expand on it.
Yeah.
The story is basically 15 minutes of one man's life of driving his wife to a place. And then, of course, he's daydreaming throughout the whole sequence. If he's daydreaming while driving, he thinks he's this commander or whatever.
Yeah.
So all of that within 2.5 pages is just like a day in the life, not even 15 minutes in the life, which Ben Stiller just fucking blew it up to such a grand scale.
To a cinematic story, yeah.
And then also how is it any different from any fucking Avengers CGI? It is fantastically done.
My thought was like, so I wonder if people, like maybe critics or people who don't like this movie, like I often wonder if people are protective of the properties they're based on. But then again, I'm also kind of like, why? Like they're so different. Like it reminds me a little bit of Baz Luhrmann's adaptation of The Great Gatsby, which like I really like that movie, and I actually happen to think it's quite a good adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you find people who are like very protective of this book, and I'm just kind of like, well, that book is like 100 years old. And also it's this weird thing where it's like people who stopped reading after high school are just like, oh my, how can you adapt a novel? And it's like, well, you don't like it's okay. Like it doesn't, I don't know. It's this like weird vibe where it's like, how could you adapt one of the 3 books I ever read? And it's like, well, it's one of the most famous stories and people get really protective of it. And it's kind of like, well, you don't watch it then. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. A lot of readers can be snobby to the degree of wanting to protect their nostalgia of what they read as a child to then watching it as an adult. Same, like when you watch a movie when you're 14 and then you rewatch it at 25 and you either hate it or love it.
Or when someone like remakes a film that you loved.
There
like,
you are.
But
Matrix. So yeah, a lot of that is just us being reminded very viscerally that life is different now.
I guess
the thing you love now is shit.
I'm more saying like it's such a weird story to adapt into a full movie.
Yeah.
And then it would be even weirder if people were protective, which I don't know if they are or not, but it is kind of like,
I know I would have never imagined in a million years. Like, this is such a throwaway 2 pages too. This wouldn't have stayed in my mind if I had read it as a child either.
I don't think it's even particularly that good of a short story.
Sorry, James Thurber.
Yeah, like I understand how it's a classic, but there's so many written at that time that are like better in the form of a short story. The content of the short story kind of everyone can relate to it to a degree because it's like, yeah, I daydream too, man. But like I don't honestly think it's that good of a short story. I think it's kind of like okay.
It feels like the Reddit subreddit where like writing prompts where you have like 3 lines and then someone writes 3 pages.
Excuse me, that's full of literature.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Almost certain that's
what
full
I'm saying.
of literature.
That is the equivalent of this 2-line story that got made into this incredible piece of moving pictures. So good job.
Incredible sequence of moving cinema pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller, if you're listening, what's up, dog? You're a real one for this.
So like you just love this movie then.
I
Like,
just I
unequivocally.
love this. I cannot think of another movie that I enjoyed minute to minute that had such a profound effect on me, and that I watch at least 5 times a year since the day that I've seen it.
It's a real easy rewatch, certainly. Yeah.
And it is, I would throw it on if I know that I'm about to be in the dumps, or if I just have a feeling that I feel like I'm wasting away, but then I'll watch it and then it'll be like a Band-Aid for me.
I'm trying to think of a movie that like inspires me in that way. There's definitely ones out there. Weirdly, Inside Llewyn Davis kind of does that for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say like even Lord of the Rings is something that you would throw on, or not as much anymore?
No, not as much.
Yeah.
I found this is going to sound pretty sacrilegious. Like I absolutely adore Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But I found I've seen them so much, and in recent times I've found the rewatchability of them to have lessened my enjoyment of them a little bit.
Fair. To be fair, you've been watching it for 20 years straight.
Yeah, and also I think like I'll get I just know that I will get an urge to rewatch them.
Yeah.
And be like, now's the time. I got to bang them out for like a day.
Yeah.
But it happens maybe like once a year, once every 2 years.
That's it. It's the Christmas rewatch. You
Kinda,
spend a day just binging 12 hours of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Or like one fucking New Year's Eve just binging Harry Potter, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But like a movie like this, like Walter Mitty, it could be a cloudy day, it could be a fucking sunny day. I just throw it on a Wednesday. Doesn't matter. It just makes me feel fucking good.
There is like something that it's like just beyond my grasp right now, where I'm like, there is at least one movie out there that really like inspires me to like be a better person or go like seize the day. And I'm trying to think of what it is.
Would you say the closest you've had to that feeling is maybe watching The Worst Person in the World?
Lately, yes.
But not that you would rewatch it a bunch of times.
I watched it twice in 1 week a couple weeks ago because I was so moved by it again.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah.
But it's very like that's very close to my heart in lots of ways.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's kind of hard.
Eh? I was asking you last night like what is, and it's hard to probably pick one, but like if you go to like a definitive happy memory you have from your childhood of an event, or
from childhood,
or
what, I was gonna say when I watched Ford vs Ferrari the other day was
cool.
for the first time. That was amazing. Yeah.
But you just like you think of it and you're just like, oh yeah, warm and fuzzy all over again.
Man, that's really hard. I'm lucky to have had lots of happy times in my life. Like it's hard to think. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a memory like that?
I have one that when I think of like what's a feeling that I've had in real life that makes me feel like when I watch Walter Mitty. And I think one of the ones is when we were really young. This is like late 90s. We moved to Toronto and we were just adjusting to the time change, to the upside down clock. But like me, mom, dad, my brother, all 4 of us, we were staying at this lady's house while she was away, just house sitting. And it was our first time being in a house that had staircase inside it.
Oh yeah, right.
So it was just peak deluxe. Oh my God, I've made it. This is how rich people be richin'.
Yeah.
They got like 3 steps to that lead you into your bedroom.
I have a similar memory like that.
But that's not the memory. The memory is we're still all waking up at 3:30 in the morning and starving and just like congregating around the kitchen table eating bread and margarine and be like, this is the greatest.
This is the life. Yeah.
Cause margarine we discovered is not something that freezes in the fridge. It just stays spreadable temperature.
That's the whole point.
I mean, fucking technology,
you can
right?
Spread it and it'll give you a heart attack in return. Yeah.
And you wouldn't, none of that. It was like cigarettes. No one tells you anything about the bad part of it because it's the 90s and we're just fucking chowing down margarine for like 7 nights in a row and breakfast. Anytime we wake up, we're like, bread and margarine, bread and margarine. What I'm saying is that was pure joy. And then I watch a movie like Walter Mitty and I'm just like transported to that time.
Interesting.
When I had like no responsibilities, just aspirations, just like only looking at the future, or like wonderful things happen to you as long as you keep moving it and getting out of there.
Interesting.
Just like, of course, post 9/11, nobody can just fucking go to the airport, point at a place, and be like, give me a ticket for that. You just can't do that anymore. You
Yeah.
definitely can't do that with an Indian passport. So fuck that shit.
No. There's one place you can go.
Yeah,
India.
Nepal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And that. And it, I don't know. It just seemed like infinite possibilities every
Yeah.
time I watch it.
Interesting.
A large part of that made me want to move to Glasgow too. So like live in Scotland and stuff, which is basically, you know, the affordable Iceland. So everybody get out there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, but not everyone is blonde. Yeah.
Yeah. And the food is better. So
Yeah, probably.
Oy.
Not as much pickled fish.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think when I moved to Finland, there was like I had experiences where like especially at the beginning of all that trip, it was kind of like the most incredible feeling all the time.
Yeah.
Because I was much more extroverted and like meeting new people from like different places.
Yeah.
I had never left Canada before, and so just kind of
Ooh.
going out in the world and being like, oh, this is people just live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young man.
Yeah, and I don't know, just kind of like very wide-eyed and like young and naive and not. But like I didn't really have to think about. I didn't have as much worry in the world. Like everything seemed like a positive. Like even though it's like you're broke and you live in a foreign country and all this kind of shit, it's kind of like, well, yeah, but you can turn that into a positive. Yeah, I don't know.
Because you're not getting in your own way. Because other things are in your way, like financial woes are in your way, or a language barrier is in your way. So you're like, I will do the best I can to overcome that.
Well, there was no language barrier because Finnish people all speak 5 languages, and they're just like English. Yeah, I
Is
learned
English
that when
one
I
of
was
them?
3.
Oh.
Yeah,
This is me being reverse racist.
they came up to me and they were just like, "Do you speak English?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they're just like, "I can't understand a word he's saying. He's fucking."
This
He's
guy.
like, no, do you speak English? Do you speak English? And I'm like, yeah, I'm speaking English to you now. And they're just like, I cannot understand you.
Oh my god, I just fucking Walter Mitty, dude. It's like it's beautiful, and there's like some melancholy to it, but it's always there. But it's not there in a way that it's like the sadness is not a priority. You just accept it. You're just like, okay, my life is humdrum.
The real joy of the film and the whole kind of purpose is that like, and it's like even talking about it, this reminds me a lot of our conversation about time.
Yeah.
It's like this movie is so sweet and saccharine that it could be off-putting, and it was off-putting to a lot of critics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who were all jaded and they're
terrible.
jaded and depressed idiots anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of them are, but like the idea of the film is it's almost like so dumbed down. No offense. I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm not saying that, but like it's so straightforward that it's just kind of like it's never too late to start your life.
That's what I'm saying. It's like children's movie but for adults, right?
You know what? Okay, we talked about this. Everyone, go back and listen to our Jarhead episode. We talk about American Beauty, which I wouldn't call a very inspiring film, but there is a line that Kevin Spacey, one of the greatest men ever, who's never done anything
Most
wrong,
man
which
of
I
all
believe
time.
we talked very strongly about in the Jarhead episode. Never done anything wrong. He's great. Everyone is just so in love with
just
this guy.
Number
But
one Spacey.
He has this line, which I remember so poignantly, where he says, in the opening kind of montage, where he's like, I feel like I'm half asleep or something like that. I remember it so poignantly. I'm now misquoting it, but like he's like I feel like I'm kind of sleepwalking through my life.
Yeah.
And to end that montage, to like just cap it off, he says, "But I know it's never too late to get things back." And it's never too late to start your life, which is what this movie is exactly about. Yeah. You know?
But without any of that cynical nature of it. Or any
American
sadness.
Beauty kind of turns into this ironic way of him re-seizing his life while at the same time he's like this wrecking ball to his wife and to his daughter and to his neighbor and all this kind of stuff by seizing his life. And while there's things in that movie that you can admire with his own enlightenment, there's no doubt that it's a lot more complicated, whereas this movie is like all the enlightenment. And it's never too late to grab your life, to grab the bull by the horns, to live, laugh, love, the mountains are calling and I must go, and get a tattoo of all that kind of stuff.
You have to stop saying live, laugh, love, because that shit is eat, pray, love. Eat, Pray,
Yeah,
Love
yeah, yeah.
does the opposite of Walter Mitty.
Oh, this movie, but no. Eat, Pray, Love and this movie have the same intention.
Yeah.
But Walter
the
Mitty does it
execution.
much better.
Well, like, it's not even on the same league.
Yeah.
Eat, Pray, Love.
Remember you asked, you were like, what's a man's version of Eat, Pray, Love?
Oh, The Expendables.
No, Walt, why not this?
Why this, though? Why
But-
man's?
Well, you're the one who brought up the man part of it. You
Well,
sexist.
I just meant
you sexist
woman.
pig. Yeah.
I meant when like women take like interest in like girly things or shopping, or you know what I mean, like the stereotypical description of like Eat, Pray, Love is 40-year-old mid whatever.
It's a
housewife.
fact of life that ladies be shopping.
Ladies be
It's a-
shopping.
It's
Hashtag Eat, Pray,
a
Love.
fact. Yeah,
right?
There are ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs that show ladies be shopping.
LBS.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm saying, I was say the point I brought up about that was that it's scrutinized to the degree that men don't get scrutinized for enjoying The Expendables or fucking Fast and Furious or whatever, right? It's like, oh, it's just a dumb movie where they're chasing cops and blah.
Yeah, people like something like Eat, Pray, Love, which we do not like. We're not saying it, but certainly stuff that is targeted at women just gets scrutinized to a heavier
Exactly.
degree by literally everyone, and there's one very, very clear reason for it: sexism. That's just how it is. Like in both covert and overt sexism.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
But something like Walter Mitty, what I'm saying is like, I think it is kind of a positive male version of the Eat, Pray, Love thing because
like it's not boastful like Julia Roberts' character is. He's a schlumpy guy. He's just this loser guy who's like lost most of the time.
But also what he wants out of life is really not that complicated.
Yeah.
And also, this is a fictional story. For one, the Eat, Pray, Love is based on a true thing, but go back and listen to it, because there are problems with that film that make it so infuriating.
Yeah.
Whereas like in this one, I don't find a lot of the same issues crop up. I think they do a better job of it by very much simplifying the things that he wants. He wants to find meaning in his life, and and part of that involves dating Cheryl, who he has a boy crush on. He's just got a crush on
very
Kristen
sweet.
Wiig, you know?
Yeah.
Should we get into the plot? Because
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're kind of rambling already.
What the fuck?
So, speaking of Kristen Wiig, it starts off with Walter Mitty. He's on eHarmony. There's lots of product placement in this film.
Love
it's
it.
a little insane.
Yes.
He's on eHarmony and he's trying to send Kristen Wiig like a message,
a wink,
and it doesn't go through. So he does possibly the worst thing in the world, which is try to talk to customer support for a dating site, which must be hell.
yes.
Yeah.
But not for Walter.
Although I did that when we met because I reported you directly. I reported you directly to Hinge when we met. I was like,
hey, yo, who is this demon
I was
spawn?
like, listen, I'm gonna spend my life with her, but like, don't ever let her back on, even though her pictures after we date are gonna be great. Yeah,
will be so much better.
her stuff was very offensive. Yeah,
it's true.
And then like Patton brings up like the obvious thing, which is like, yo, she's like your coworker. Why don't you just go talk to her?
Yeah.
You know, which I agree. I'm just like, she's go chat her up and just do it all above board. Don't be a work creep, but like maybe, you know,
yeah,
lay those fucking Stiller moves.
those
on her.
electric blue eyes on Kirsten Wiig, Benny Stills.
And he goes to work and he has like, it becomes clear that daydreams kind of take up a lot of his spare thinking time.
He zones out, as his family likes to call it.
He works for Life magazine, which was a real magazine, doesn't exist anymore, and they use the branding for that. And he's the negative asset manager, and he works closely with a photographer who he's never met, who just like sends in the work kind of. He goes into work and finds out that they've been bought by this other venture, and they're going to go completely online. They're going to work on the final issue, and it's being led by Adam Scott, this is one of my major criticisms of the film. He's so cartoonishly a villain that it's almost like annoying.
Yes.
And the film gets better. The film takes a really long time to get to where it's going.
Yeah.
And it's not until, spoiler alert, he goes to Greenland that I start to really enjoy the film more.
Yes.
When he's hanging around New York, it's not my favorite part.
And it's not even that long of a hanging around in New York. Like
but
the movie
it's longer
pretty much
than it
takes off.
It's longer than it should be.
Sure.
It's really longer than it should be. But it sets up a lot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, so Adam Scott. Adam Scott is a terrible
Adam
figure.
Scott is fantastic in this.
He's
Such
not.
a dick.
He's not.
Such a mean guy.
Yeah.
It's hard to unsee him. I think because then every time if like a Parks and Rec episode pops up, I'm like, this fucking guy, fucking Adam Scott. But he's such a sweetie in the TV show.
You know, every time a Parks and Rec episode pops up, I'm always like, man, that show is not funny.
Stop your
There's
face.
literally nothing funny about this show, and I will never watch it because it's not funny.
There will be no besmirching of Ron Swanson on this pod. But go on.
So Parks and Rec isn't funny, and
Okay.
Adam Scott.
You're such a butt. Kill you.
Basically, so Sean O'Connell
Yeah.
sends Ben Stiller, Walter Mitty, a row of like he sends him a thing of negatives for to be processed, and a wallet with as a gift, a parting gift. Because so another weird plot point: how did Sean O'Connell hear about the purchase of Life magazine before Walter Mitty did? The dude is like. No one can find him.
I don't know if it's the final issue, but he sends it for the 25th or something. Or
it is.
50th
He says like, sorry, I'm sorry to hear that the thing is shutting down. Here's to a great time working together. You're always my favorite negative asset manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so but negative 25 is missing, which Sean O'Connell says is the quintessence of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I do like about this movie is the idea of his kind of like enduring friendship with this guy who he's never met.
A pen
and
pal.
like their professional relationship, I think is kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you realize it's like you got to find number 25.
You got to find quintessence.
Negative 25.
Yeah.
And Adam Scott is basically like, oh, I'm on Parks and Rec. Oh, look, oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I make dumb jokes.
He's such a good bully, dude.
Ooh.
Like, I can't ever see him as a good guy. I think he sells it so convincingly that he's just this, like, short-sighted fucking asshole.
Yeah,
who's just
he's good at
mean.
it. Yeah.
And in real life, he would get his teeth knocked out. Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But because it's, like, a comedy drama, they push the button a little bit with Adam Scott's
The
character.
thing that's wild is that, like, Adam Scott comes in and he's so mean to Walter Mitty, even though it's clear that, like, everyone's going to get fired at the end of this. And yet Walter Mitty is still, like, very, like, well, sorry and stuff. When it's kind of like, well, if you're going to get fired anyway, why don't you just be like, hey, you're a dick.
Yeah.
And I hated your NBC show. You were terrible in it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No. Because Walty's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. Also, he's the bigger man, to be fair.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, that's the quest, and then Walter Mitty actually ends up talking to Kristen Wiig, Cheryl, about it. He's like, oh, because she works in accounts or something, and he's like, I'm looking for Sean. Where was the last time you sent a thing? And she's like, let me go talk to someone.
Yeah.
And then one scene I really like is when they're in the park, and he's like, she's chatting on the phone and he's doing skateboard tricks behind her.
And he's so good at them.
Yeah.
But she never sees it.
Yeah. Every time she turns around, he's just standing. And then like, but when she turns back, he's like fucking
doing a double flip backward
they
shit.
used a professional skateboarder named Rodney Mullen, who's like a legendary skateboarder.
Oh, shit.
As his body double for that, which makes it clear why he's,
amazing.
Yeah. And essentially, so they look at these other negatives, which were taken around the same time as negative 25, and they realize that one of them has the reflection of the name of a boat in it, and they find that the boat is registered in Nuuk, Greenland.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious, like, did Greenland, like, provide like 400 kroner of the production budget to be like, can you please send people here? We need tourists.
Amazing.
And then the production was like, yeah, for sure. And then they filmed everything in Iceland, like a bunch of
it
dicks,
must have been so cheap for them. From like a business perspective, for Ben Stiller to be like, we don't have to pay crazy taxes. We can just go there and use as many days. There's not many people, so we can pitch our fucking camera tents.
They didn't film it in Greenland, though.
Not at all?
No, they filmed everything in Iceland.
Oh, right.
Even Afghanistan was filmed in Iceland.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. You're not gonna come back.
So basically,
from certain places if you make it there.
The subtitle of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is "Hey, fuck you, Greenland."
Not so secret.
And
It's all
you know
Iceland.
what? I want to say that that's also the official stance of the Low Ceiling podcast is, hey, fuck you, Greenland.
It's too cold.
Yeah.
Get a better
Also,
name.
Like, your name is so not descriptive.
Because it used to be green before the Ice Age. God. And then, climate change.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
You know, though.
You know what? Look it up because I
know-
invented science and
you
it
know
has
what's
my
the-
name next to it.
You did invent science. You know what's the wildest thing I know about Greenland?
Mm.
They found these like ancient caves like of ancient people, which it was really surprising because they were like, it's like, I can't believe like people lived here that long ago because it's a very inhospitable place.
Yeah.
It's like full of ice.
Yeah.
And on the caves there were these like cave paintings that said "Ladies be shopping."
Oh my God. I knew it. I saw you in the eye and I was like, I see a menacing twinkle in there. You little shit.
Trying to be very serious about that.
Greenland ladies be shopping.
Ladies be shopping in Greenland.
So
So
love it.
once he goes to Greenland, this is when the shit takes off for me.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm like, this is where it starts to get.
Yeah.
There's like this mystery. Like, first off, like what is -25? Like, what's on it?
Right?
What does the quintessence of life really mean? Which I thought was really interesting because it comes up later.
Quick pause here compared to the book like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this whole world building came out of that 5-minute fucking writing piece?
Something that's so fun about the movie is that like you can do anything. There's like an entire like CGI superhero chase segment involving a Stretch Armstrong.
Come on.
Like right in the middle of this movie that's
Yeah.
like it's so I don't like that part. It's so goofy, but it is also like you can kind of do whatever you want. And then as he gets in more adventures,
yeah.
the daydreaming starts to lessen because his life becomes a little more spectacular.
But isn't that the beauty of daydreaming itself, is that it is goofy and outrageous because it's stuff of dreams. Like when I don't know what you daydream about, but if I am like sitting at a metro station, like a train station, I do think sometimes I would fall through the concrete like fucking Kitty Pryde from X-Men and be like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So that it's silly and outrageous and goofy because
Yeah.
it's part of your dreams. And a lot of the criticism for the film was that. It's like, why do they need to do all this extra shit? Because it's stuff of dreams, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's
go
also,
smell a
like,
flower every now and then. Shit.
Like I don't know anything about the science behind it, but like daydreaming also, I don't know, it allows you to access feelings that, like, deliberately access feelings and feel them the way you want. Like nostalgia, for one, is like you catch yourself kind of thinking about times past or whatever, and you feel this like nostalgia, or like, you know what I mean? Like it's a good thing. That's like the comparison they want to draw between Adam Scott and Ben Stiller in this movie, is that like Adam Scott just seems like just a dick with no purpose.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, and then he pokes fun at Walter Mitty for getting lost in these daydreams. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And maybe
He's
inadvertently
just
kind of pushes him to do something about it. Maybe not directly, but because they keep kind of making fun of him, even his family is like, oh, Walter, hello.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's zoned out again.
Even in the end, like he's like better than Adam Scott. He's like, at least I'm not this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And it's also like it's kind of okay to have like an inner life in a way, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've read somewhere that like the idea that not everyone has like an inner monologue, which is a really weird idea to someone like me, because I'm constantly like talking to myself in my own head.
Yeah.
But like some people are just kind of like pillow.
Lamp.
Huh. And then like I don't know, there's no thoughts.
There's
like
no
legit
thoughts.
no thoughts.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Either they're fucking great at meditating, or they are serial killers. There's no in between.
But like meditation isn't about like not thinking, right? It's just about
like letting it come and letting it go.
Yeah. It's
Thoughts.
like allowing yourself to think, but not necessarily having to latch on to any one thought. You know. Yeah. Take my meditation course. It's in Greenland. So he goes to Greenland and he finds this drunk helicopter pilot who is delivering radio parts to a postal boat or like something.
Yeah.
Which Sean had ridden on before.
Mm-hmm.
So he does something. He does kind of like his first crazy thing where he jumps on this helicopter
Yeah.
and takes off and then jumps out into the frozen
He
Greenlandic
jumps
water.
off the wrong side of the
Yeah,
helicopter.
and he gets like he's on this boat now, and this boat's going to Iceland, where they were like, yeah, that's where we took your buddy. He's going to Iceland too to go look at this volcano.
Yeah.
So he gets to Iceland because Sean wants to go photograph this volcano. He gets to Iceland and he hops on the one bicycle to cycle across Iceland.
Even that was such a good plot point where everybody gets off the boat
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they all want to go see the one stripper who lives in Greenland, Iceland
God,
somewhere, but only
He
one
left-
person
yeah.
can make it because there's one bicycle there. And
Yeah.
so everyone charges at it. And it's so exciting to see Walter Mitty kind of go and grab that bicycle for himself.
Yeah. Fucking,
You fucking, like,
fucking
Go
get
for it, Walt.
And then essentially like he's bicycling and then he's skateboarding down in like
Hey,
yeah.
before all of that, though, you're missing a very crucial part of that daydream where how he meets that helicopter driver
yes.
in a bar. That guy is drunk out of his mind
Mm-hmm.
before he's about to take off into the helicopter. And that sequence where
Guys, and I also want to say we have two official stances on this podcast. Fuck Greenland and don't drink in helicopters. It's really dangerous.
I don't know, you got to
Yeah.
try it out for yourself.
Don't get into a helicopter. Just say no. Just say no. Don't get into a helicopter with a drunk pilot.
Just say no to helicopters.
Yeah.
He-
Drunk helicopters, not even once.
Not,
Yeah.
not
Go
even
on.
once.
Greenland, not even once.
Jesus, this cannot turn into a Greenland slander pod. There's this fantastic sequence of the Space Oddity song. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, sorry. To explain something, okay. Adam Scott, the terrible actor from Parks and Rec, he calls Ben Stiller, he calls him Major Tom as a joke. And then Cheryl is like, actually, Major Tom, it's like a really good song. It's a David Bowie song. It's weird that Walter Mitty doesn't know that, but whatever. And so she's like, it's actually a cool song. So
Well, she tries to explain that he's the guy who goes to space. Like he
Yeah.
gets it done.
don't feel too bad about it.
He's not just
Yeah.
grounded. He actually makes it out there.
Yeah, and then he has this like daydream in a bar where Cheryl is karaokeing that song essentially
Yeah.
for him, and that inspires him to go jump on this to risk his life, to be
Yeah.
honest, to jump on this helicopter. Yeah.
Fun fact, Kirsten Wiig was like, I don't know how to play the guitar, but I'm just going to learn how to act the playing of the guitar
Hey,
with the right notes so it looks believable.
the
And
cool
she
thing
does.
about cinema is you really don't have to learn those things because it
Yeah.
was probably ADR'd anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah. But good for you, Kirsten Wiig. What a
yeah,
goose.
why not? Yeah.
What a
Whatever.
wonderful, talented goose.
Yeah. She's great. I really like Kristen Wiig, even when she plays serious stuff, which I know lots of people don't dig, but I like her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's in Iceland.
Mm.
He skateboards as a volcano erupts behind him, and he's rescued by an Icelandic man who then drops him off at the only pizza place in Iceland, which is a Papa John's.
Incredible. Fun fact also that Ben Stiller's dad used to work at Papa John's with him. Well, Ben Stiller, like Walter Mitty's dad,
Yeah.
and Walter used to work together at Papa John's, but young Walter hated it because he's like, ugh, those fucking blows. I just want to be out there doing cool stuff like riding my skateboard.
I have to criticize the product placement of this film because, like, how can you act seriously in a scene when talking about Papa John's?
Yeah.
Like,
It's called having real talent, babe.
yeah,
Look it up.
I guess so, but
Okay.
it is like,
And no hate for Papa John's because sometimes those garlic bread poppers, they be popping.
yeah. Also, full disclosure, Papa John's paid me $5,000 to slander Greenland on this podcast. So,
It's all part of the conspiracy.
Papa John came to me himself and said, like, you know what I fucking hate? Greenland.
Papa John was like, Lil John, it's me, Papa John.
Yeah.
Terrible. This is awful for us.
Anyway, Papa John, send me that pizza when you get a chance. Is that what they make pizza, right?
Pizza.
I've never been to a Papa John's. They don't really exist in Canada, I don't think so. Or fucking prove me wrong, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Jeez.
Yeah. So basically, he finds out that Sean was at like looking for the volcano, but the eruption kind of got in the way of stuff, and so he comes home without finding him.
Yeah.
I really like the shot where he looks at that text message and it's on the mountain.
Yeah.
And then the plane drives by and then it
Yeah.
transitions to landing at the. I think it's a really cool shot. I
With
thought
him
that
on
stuff
top
was really.
of it.
The thing about this movie is like Ben Stiller's a very good director.
Yeah.
And this movie's kind of impeccably made. Like
Yes.
it's very beautiful.
Yes.
A lot of the Iceland/Greenland stuff is very beautiful.
Mm.
But yeah, like he's a very good director.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy to make Iceland look gorgeous on camera. That's like, there's no criticism to that at all. All of his directorial prowess is still fantastic within a shitty building in Life magazine, New York. Or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
like
it's great within his mom's house.
It's a
where
very
he's
well directed film. Like
Really well done.
I quite yeah. So he can't find negative 25 and therefore he basically gets fired. He goes back to Life magazine and Ted fires him. He pointed at me. What's up?
One of my favorite scenes just before when that volcano thing happens is some guy tries to rescue him. Some guy with
does.
his little car is like, volcano, and then he tries to tell him the name and he doesn't remember the name, and the way he keeps saying
Yeah. Yeah.
I have cried until like cried. I don't know why that shit gets me every time, but oh, it's so stupid and funny. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and I still don't know how to say it. So.
The Icelandic language is
The
wild.
E-word volcano done
Yeah.
popped off.
Big E word, yeah. He gets fired. He goes to find Cheryl. He wants to bring the longboard to her son who enjoys skateboarding.
Yeah.
A man answers the door who is possibly her ex-husband, and that scares him off, so he leaves the longboard. Then he goes and visits his mom and sister. Sister, also got to point out, is played by
Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn, who's like she's like one of the funniest people
What a
alive.
fucking
Like
talent.
she's so fucking funny. Rizzo. She's tough and tender.
I'm playing Rizzo.
Yeah.
The fucking swole, jacked Ben Stiller coming back
Oh yeah.
from Iceland with little facial beard.
No, that's later when he comes back from Afghanistan.
Oh, he doesn't have a beard?
Not yet, because there's more.
Okay,
There's more.
okay.
Spoiler.
Sorry, I guess I'll just get back up on my chair where I slipped out from.
And so but then he realizes that Sean has visited his mother. He throws away his wallet in his mother's house. Then he realizes from one of the pictures that it's actually a picture of her piano.
Yeah.
And and then his mom's like, "Oh yes, Sean's very lovely. He was here. He loved my cake.
He took some with him.
He took some with him, blah, blah, blah." And then he figures out, I don't remember, can you kind of remind me? He
Yeah.
figures out that Sean's in Afghanistan.
Yeah, so he has
The
this
Himalayas
little,
in Afghanistan.
little parchment that he tells Cheryl about, and then she Googles the word Buzkashi warlord and finds out that, oh, they're these herding tribe that also does wrestling. And then anyway, they are all centered in a part of Afghanistan.
Yeah, the
and
Himalayas.
that's where he's headed.
And so he heads to Afghanistan. I think we talk a lot about how like movies might not have aged very well. It's kind of, there's a part where he has to bribe the Taliban with a cake.
Yeah.
I don't think that would go over so well today.
I think it'd go over so well. Are you kidding me? They fucking love a good orange slice cake, man.
I know it's like controversial to say.
Yeah.
I don't think the Taliban are very good people.
In the caves where they live, it probably also says
Ladies do not be shopping in Taliban countries.
ladies
Okay.
be shopping for a
Also,
murder.
this might be even more controversial. I would rather hang out with Kevin Spacey than the Taliban.
Oh my god. Fuck, marry, kill Kevin Spacey. The Taliban.
Greenland.
Kill. Jesus. Incredible. We are canceling the pod as of today.
Not by choice.
Not by choice. But I know. They try to make. Also, when I first saw it, I didn't even make the connection that it would be the Taliban. I just thought
it's not the Taliban. They're the
people
warlords. They're like the warlords of this area of Afghanistan, like a tribal warlord or whatever. But the guy is like dressed in all black. He does kind of look like a Taliban guy.
Well, they all have fucking AKs. Like they're on their horses, being like, and the way he eats the cake is he pushes his gun knife into the cake.
Yeah.
And then takes a bite
Hell
out of
yeah.
it and was like, oh.
This is fucking an outtake from Lord of War. Coming up next.
What's up? And also, they are familiar with this action because Sean O'Connell went through the region.
That's how he got through it with that cake.
With the cake, with his mom's cake.
Yeah. And then he finally finds Sean just sitting on a mountaintop with his camera out, watching for a snow leopard.
But okay, yeah, he finds it.
Before that, he finds a skeleton from the Empty Man, definitely, and then
in the cave.
Yeah, in the cave.
The skeleton scribbling the words.
Yeah,
Stop it. This whole sequence of him going with the Sherpas to a certain degree, and then after a while they're like, we can't go any further, and they bless him with the wind blessing, where they just take a bunch of branch leaves and slap him across the face.
Slap him across the face. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
It's dope. Yeah.
And then the word "I am alone" comes up on it because he's writing in his dad's diary finally.
Yeah.
And he's
his travel diary that he never used.
Yeah.
Not even when he went to Phoenix.
And it was like really cool where they show him just. That's what
It's
every
a great montage. Yeah.
medium difficulty hike to me feels like.
Fucking thought of the film. I can't believe I didn't think of this. The film that inspires me.
What?
Into the Wild. 100%.
Yeah, fist bump. Fuck yeah.
And I know that film doesn't exactly end very positively, but a lot of the philosophical ideas in that movie I really resonate with. And so, yeah, whenever I watch that movie, I do often think, I'm like, what if I dropped everything and did something different?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like burned all my money and my passport, but like just kind of like, what if I completely changed my life? Yeah. That's probably the feeling you get with Walter Mitty.
100%.
Right?
And both of those movies go in the trajectory of getting off our couches and changing our lives in a different country.
Yeah.
So, maybe there is a pattern.
Maybe. Yeah. So he finds Sean.
He finds Sean O'Connell.
And played by
Sean Penn. Fuck.
Yeah.
Again, no hate, but just that was my least favorite part of the movie.
Really?
It takes me out every time.
I am not a huge Sean Penn fan, and I actually like him in this movie. I actually like Sean Penn. Sean Penn can be a little serious.
Sean Penn's a lot, man.
He can be a lot. And I actually like in this, he's a little whimsical in this, where he's like, it's in the wallet, man.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know. I thought it was good. I think he seemed like in it, and I like that part.
It's not the character or whatever. It's just Sean Penn's face, because I don't know, if they had just gotten some guy who is not that big a name.
No, you got to have a great cameo here.
I guess.
You gotta. And Sean Penn, I think, is a great choice.
Okay. It tracks that
Who
he
do
would
you want?
be.
Issa Rae? Like, what do you?
Yes. Could you imagine? Oh, the snow leopard, Issa Rae, the ghost cat, never seen before.
So he finds out that he threw away the negative because it slid into the wallet because Sean is an obtuse piece of shit.
Because Sean said, the quintessence of life, look inside. And then he meant look inside the wallet.
He meant it literally, even though Ben Stiller was like, I thought you meant like figuratively.
Like in my heart.
Yeah, which is funny. It's like funny when...
So cute.
And then he goes back to America and he gets detained at the airport, which is funny because he's coming from Afghanistan.
But he's doing it through Yemen and a bunch of like weird routes. So the TSA is like, sir, would you step aside and be like...
TS motherfucking A is like, not on my watch. Yeah.
Well, is there anybody you know who lives in this part of the country who would know who you are?
Patton Oswalt, baby.
Todd Mahar from eHarmony.
Harmony. Played by Patton Oswalt. And then they have another little bit of product placement there. Eating, legit delicious, having a Cinnabon.
the jizzy topping.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Louis C.K. has a long bit
the
on
whole
the Cinnabon, which is great.
Sorry.
And then he's at home and he's fucking, he's unemployed, and he puts up a terrible resume that would get him no hits ever on dude, no one cares that you went to the Himalayas, bro. All right? They want to look at your followers. And he gets his mom is like, "Oh, I didn't throw. You always throw away stuff and I keep it. So here's your wallet." Which why did he throw it away? It's such a nice wallet.
Such a good wallet. It has life's motto.
Yeah, it has
embossed in it.
the motto, which is really cool. And then he gets the negative. He brings it back to Ted, and he's like, "Here's your negative, bitch. Don't be a dick. Fuck you." And then he leaves.
Yeah. And he says those words instead of just
exactly,
daydreaming about
it's
them.
the only reason this movie is rated R is because of that part where he's
Nice.
just like, "Why don't you fuck off?"
Don't be a dick.
Yeah. And then he goes and gets his severance check, and he meets up with Cheryl there.
Yeah.
And they kind of walk along, and they're going to go on a date to see Rizzo in Greece. And they look and they see that the print of the Final Life
25th.
magazine is actually a photograph of Walter looking at a chart, a sheet,
Negative
a negative asset sitting in the lobby, which Sean had taken clandestinely. And it's a really cool photograph. That kind of like little twist at the end I love. I think is like so great because, to be perfectly frank, you never expect that it's actually gonna be him.
Yeah.
You know?
You keep thinking it's gonna be like a fancy thing or like
Yeah.
a beautiful thing that's gonna blow your dick off. But it's like a quiet beauty to
Yeah.
that black and white picture of Walter.
And then it is the thing that I like about it is like it is a realistic idea of like how a magazine would end. You know? Like if it went out of
With its
business, I was
people.
like, yeah, that's really cool. It's like it was a really good idea. Yeah.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Stiller, man. He thought of all the good things.
That's fucking the end, bro.
Ben Silly Goose.
The
let's do it
Secret Life
again.
of Walter Mitty, Demystified
Mm.
by me and Pri.
Mwah. Raison.
Rizzo. She's tough and tender.
She's tough and
Yeah.
tender.
Fuck yeah.
So fucking
movie.
good.
Yeah,
Oh.
dude. Want to get
Yeah.
in this top 5?
Oh, you got a top 5, Rowan?
I
What's
got
up?
the top 5.
Stop it.
The top 5.
Oh my gosh.
The best top 5.
Yeah.
The top 5 times Iceland ever made the news.
Oh gosh.
Top 5 times Iceland was important in the world.
Okay.
So I actually I didn't look too much into this, but have you ever heard of the band of Monsters and Men?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were a big deal, right?
They were big.
I'm consulting with you. They were a big deal.
They were big even in India. They were big.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So in 2011, this is number 5. In 2011, of Monsters and Men released the folk rock song Little Talks, which is a huge deal because it literally never stopped playing for 2 years straight.
Excellent.
And full disclosure, I really like that band. I think they're quite good. And they did all of their best work after that, actually, because they're still making music today.
Mhm.
But they were like the epitome of the folk indie thing, like festival people who are like, oh, I like a band from Iceland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
most metal as well.
Yeah, and they were they're good. They're a good band. Yeah, but that song was just such a big deal. Like, it's such a fucking big deal. I
Wow.
can still hear it in my fucking head right now.
So that's number 5.
Number 4, Iceland beat England to knock them out of Euro 2016. Sorry, in England, but fuck you. That was pretty sick. You're not a sportsman, but
No.
it was a huge deal at the time because I don't know, but England's pretty good at football, so yeah.
So did they win the whole thing in the end?
No, they just beat England, which was enough. After that, they just retired. No,
They're like
just-
once and for all, we did it.
yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
And then obviously too, Iceland, big deal in the financial crisis, how it crippled their entire economy for years to come, which was pretty sick. Yeah.
Is the top five things that happened to Iceland?
Yep. Top 5 reasons Iceland mattered and
Oh,
ever. Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
When they crash and burned.
During the financial crisis, they were like, if you've ever seen the film Inside Job, the documentary, they start in Iceland. They go, that's the very beginning is kind of like,
Oh.
this is Iceland. All of their banks are closed because of the financial crisis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it fucked up Iceland good. Really interesting. Yeah.
So now they rely on tourism and fishing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Well, we'll come there.
Number 2 is kind of one of the reasons their economy recovered. Game of Thrones.
All right.
Basically single-handedly created the Icelandic tourism
What's
industry.
up? Yeah. I want to go hang out with some Icelandic dragons. I'm
Hell
about
yeah.
that life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they filmed Beyond the Wall in Iceland, right? Yeah. Yep.
Jeez.
Game of Thrones. And then number 1,
The
the
volcano.
big fucking volcano that
Yeah.
fucked up air travel for years. No,
No,
do you remember the one that like covered Europe in ash for
That's the
like a
one.
whole year? Yeah, it's the same one, right?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one that like messed up air travel for
Yeah,
like, a
dude.
long time, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember just my whole fam and I were like sitting in India watching this stuff and every channel was like just this globe of
Still
smoke, and
still
we're like,
ashy out there. Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know, but like, get on our level. Shout out New Delhi. What?
Yeah.
Get that on the daily.
Yeah. It's top 5 times Iceland made the news.
Good
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Good for you, Iceland.
Good job, Iceland.
Still better than Greenland.
We will see you in this lifetime. Yet.
Yeah. Definitely not the next one because we'll be dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walter Mitty, baby.
Walter Mitty. Oh, I can never say this movie's name without not smiling. Like
Yeah.
it's such a good name, Mitty, and you're immediately smiling.
It's a really feel-good film. I'm happy we talked about it.
It's the poster child of comfort soup.
Yeah. Anything else on this guy?
Just love
Fucking
and life and laugh and live.
ouch. Ooh. Ow. Ouch. That one hurts. This has been The Low Ceiling. I've been John.
And I'm Pri.
Follow us on Instagram at The Low Ceiling.
Don't.
Don't
Don't go to Instagram.
But honestly, like, don't.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Love you, Mom.
Bye.
Bye.